What's up, nerds? We're back to talk about the U.S. men's national team taking on Jamaica. The big question today is Poch-Ball already working for the U.S. national team? And to answer that, we need to talk about a few of the things that have happened over the last few matches. Mauricio Pochettino has been in charge of the U.S. for 4 matches now. 2 of them have been competitive against Jamaica, home and away. I want to talk a little bit about what happened at home last night in their 4-2 win. And to do that, we're going to talk mostly about Jedi as an inverted fullback and what that actually means and what that actually gave to the U.S. I also want to highlight a few other players that did really well and also talk about what happened on Pulisic's first goal to really make it work, because yes, we can talk about McKennie's sublime pass or Pulisic's incredible finish, but there are 2 other players that were critical to the buildup of that play that made it all work. So I want to break that down for you. Today, let's talk a little bit about, is Poch-Ball already working for the U.S. national team? I've been away, obviously, for a few weeks, maybe a few months now since the last video I put out. I am on paternity leave right now. We have a 2-week-old daughter. Eloise was born on November 2nd. So no better time to take paternity leave and be off work than when the U.S. is playing and getting to watch a few soccer games. Here she is watching the game with us last night. I'm getting a good amount of sleep right now, so I'm pretty happy, and to be able to have some time now finally to do this video is really nice. So overall, guys, I think the first thing to say is that it's too early, 4 games in, to know truly if the team has improved, really, in a tangible way. But I think there are a lot of good signs that we can look at that tell me, I think overall, the biggest highlight, just to talk about, whether it's the inverted fullback, whether it's Timothy Weah and Pulisic being able to interchange on the left, whether it's playing Yunus Musa as a right winger instead of centrally, the biggest thing that I think has changed so far with Pochettino in charge of the U.S. is that we are fitting the game plan to the strengths and competitive advantages of our players, rather than trying to fit our players into the game plan. What I think that gives us is just to have dynamism and a variety in the attack and how we are able to create scoring chances. Because in this game, as we'll see, whether it was playing through the middle and trying to create chances there, whether it was playing out wide and then switching it to the weak side and having a one-on-one isolated attacker, or whether it was a counter-pressing moment and having the ability to win the ball high up the field and create a scoring chance there, we scored on all 3 of those different phases. And with Greg Berhalter, it was very much about having possession, to have the ball. Whereas here, it really feels like we have possession to be able to create chances and really unlock our creativity here. So let's actually break down what has happened so far. Now, the biggest thing, and I'm sure, whether it was on the broadcast or after the fact, a lot of people are going to be talking about Jedi Anthony Robinson playing an inverted fullback role. Now, first things first, an inverted fullback is someone that starts on this fullback, this left side, and when we have possession, moves into the middle of the pitch. Now, this does a few things. The first thing is that in attack, it gives you this box. So there's going to be 2 other midfielders that are going to be playing attack here. So it gives you a numbers overload in the middle of the pitch. If Jamaica is playing a 4-3-3, you now have 4 midfielders to be able to pass around and play centrally. The other piece is that defensively, it gives you a player that is higher up the pitch to be able to counter press the ball when we lose the ball. So for instance, right, if you are Anthony Robinson and you are playing wide left in your normal position and you're running up and down as an attacking wing back, and we lose the ball in this area, you are completely out of the play if you're high and wide left. If you're an inverted fullback and we lose the ball, which you'll see here, you are one of the first players to be able to counter press and attack that ball. That is so much better to be able to stop counterattacks and just be in a safer area for when you lose the ball. Now, I'm particularly impressed with Anthony Robinson. I know the decision from Pochettino to play him is an impressive one in itself, but Jedi is someone that really thrives from being wide and running up and down the flank. But for him to be able to play with his back to goal and to be able to be a part of the possession style, I was really impressed with how he played in general last night. Now let's look at some of the initial chances, because outside of attack and defense, the biggest change that you're going to see from Anthony Robinson playing an inverted role is that he will be underlapping instead of overlapping. So on an overlap in general, normally if this is Anthony Robinson here and you're playing out wide, you're going to get the ball out wide to Tim Weah and try and go around him on the overlap to create chances. Now, when you're starting from the inside, from the inverted fullback role, you're going to be making underlaps. So you're taking this lane instead of the outside lane. Now, the fact that we have Christian Pulisic that was just given creative license here, he started from the middle but came out and drifted wide left a lot. Christian Pulisic, Timothy Weah, and Anthony Robinson are going to have a lot of chances to have overloads on this side and really use all of their creative abilities to get chances. So if we watch this here, Anthony Robinson came on the underlap, and this is the first chance from Timothy Weah that almost resulted in a goal. So if we just watch this again, you can see the underlap here instead of the overlap. It comes to Timothy Weah, who almost scores our first goal. Now here's the other play I want to talk about with Anthony Robinson being in the middle in the underlap. So you'll see his starting position here. Christian Pulisic has drifted out wide left, and this whole defensive line now is marked up 1-1. So each defender has one attacker that they need to be responsible for. Now, just keep an eye on Anthony Robinson and the run that he makes, because Timothy Weah is going to pull this defender out to get the ball. And this whole space is going to be open for this underlap for Anthony Robinson to run into. You see this whole space here is now open. We almost have a chance here with Ricardo Pepi, almost puts it away for another goal. I just think this is emblematic for what Anthony Robinson was looking to do last night, and just his ability to understand space and where to be. For having been in this position for one game, I think, again, just give him a lot of credit for how he played last night. Now I want to talk a little bit about Pulisic's first goal, the first goal of the game, because almost all of the talk will be about Weston McKennie's pass or Christian Pulisic's finish. Now, there are two players here that make this work, okay? Because Yunus Musah will make a run into this space that pulls this central defender with him. Ricardo Pepi is going to occupy this space and ask for the ball, receive the ball, and there's a defender right here that's going to go with Ricardo Pepi. That all takes the defenders out and leaves this space open, which is the exact space that Christian Pulisic is going to run into. So let's watch this actually happen. So Yunus Musah is going to take this defender, Ricardo Pepi here is going to take that defender, and Christian Pulisic understands that there is now an opening in that space to get out and score the goal. Okay, let's watch it from another angle now. So Yunus Musah is right here, Ricardo Pepi, Christian Pulisic, and Weston McKennie, the eventual assist, is going to come from. Now Yunus Musah right here knows that he needs to sprint into this. This defender here has to occupy Weston McKennie because he has the ball, and this defender was late on the play because he had to cover Ricardo Pepi. Look again, open space, just amazing play all around. And again, everyone is going to talk about Weston McKennie's pass and Christian Pulisic's finish, but the movement to not just be vertical and running towards the goal like we've seen in the past, and actually thinking about how do I occupy defenders and how do I pull them with me into space so that there's something in behind for Christian Pulisic to run into. Weston McKennie is going to get the assist, but I really think that a lot of plaudits need to go to Yunus Musah and Ricardo Pepi for just their attacking movement last night and really ruthlessness in just giving themselves up and using their stamina even if they're not going to be on the score sheet. Now, if we want to talk about dynamic movement and having every player understand how they're going to be affecting the play, this second goal that the US scored, it's going to be called an own goal now, I think, but this buildup is some of the best buildup that we've seen from the US, and I just feel like there has been an unlocking a little bit of our talent with Pochettino as the coach, because we know we have Champions League winners, we have European stars in the making, but we just haven't made that work on the national team level. And you can see from Joe Scally to the way that Yunus Musah is able to turn and get this ball from defensive transition into the middle, into attack. And then the player that is probably the most integral to having this play work is Tanner Tessman. And I need to give a huge shout out to Tanner Tessman because he, outside of anyone that was on the score sheet, was probably the player of the game. If you know, the tough thing with Tanner right now is that he plays in a position that we are pretty much overloaded at. Whether it's Johnny Cardoso now, Aiden Morris, Tyler Adams, Weston McKinney, Yunus Musa, all of them can play that position. Tanner Tessman at Lyon now in Liga. I think he can make it his own. And this game was a statement game for Tanner Tessman. But just watch this play develop and how Tanner Tessman is understanding the space. And he's going to take a little peek back here to know that Christian Pulisic is behind him. The little dummy run, oh, it's just beautiful. And again, that whole play was emblematic of what we can expect going forward for Mauricio Pochettino. Because think about it, if that was Greg Berhalter, and I don't want to spend too much time shitting on Greg Berhalter, but if that's Greg Berhalter, we are passing the ball around the back. There was no speed to get it from defense to attack. And I think you can see here again, whether it was transition moments, whether it was counter-pressing, or whether it was creating chances with possession, that all came together last night, and we scored in all 3 phases of those games. So guys, thanks so much for watching the breakdown today. I really appreciate you if you are back here after a few months of not watching or me not having a video out. As always, appreciate you so much. See you next time. Peace.